I'm Andy Rady, lawyer at Harrison Pensa Law Firm, and I'm a ChangeMaker.
The Lawyers Leadership Challenge has raised 1.1 million for United Way funded programs for the past decade, with the last 3 years with Andy as chair. Last year alone, the Lawyers Leadership Challenge raised $117,000, which was an incredible 33% increase year over year. So tell us about the Lawyer Leadership Challenge. I know a lot of folks don't know about it.
So, the challenge is a fundraising event where various law firms in London, with the lawyers at each law firm, effectively compete with the other law firms to see who can raise the most funds for United Way. So it engages the spirit of competition between the firms. There's a high degree of collegiality amongst the law firms. Although we are competitors, we're very collegial with each other. But by engaging that competitive aspect, I've found that it causes each individual lawyer within the firm to say, how's the other firm doing? Okay, then they might open up their wallet to donate to a very, very good cause.
So tell me how you got involved with the Lawyer Leadership Challenge.
Growing up, my mother always supported United Way, so I was exposed to it that way and saw what she was supporting and why she was supporting United Way. It was very important to her. And then I joined Harrison Pensa Law Firm and saw that there was a number of lawyers there that also supported United Way historically. So younger in my career, several years ago, the leadership challenge was ongoing, and the opportunity came to be the local firm champion for the challenge, which is rallying the troops at the firm to donate. And so, knowing United Way in the past and the impact it has on our community, I volunteered to take on that role, knock on doors, say, hey, can you donate? And then 3 years ago, the chair of the Leadership Challenge, who had served in that role for quite some time, he was stepping down, and United Way approached me and asked if I would take on the chair role, and I said, yeah, absolutely. I was happy to do it. It just takes what I was doing at my firm and just expands the scope to communicating with other firms.
And can you tell me like what you like about United Way? Like why United Way?
There's a number of individual organizations in London that are trying to make a difference. And as an individual organization, they have a lot of things that they have to contend with, both at the operational level and the financial level, but they are trying to fundamentally make a difference, whether it's addressing mental health, poverty, or people who are unhoused, children who need to have an opportunity, people who don't have enough food on the table, all those things. But as an individual organization, they get empowered by United Way through the funding mechanism of United Way to make those organizations more powerful. And it's I know it sounds contrived, but it's the united front that it brings, because it is such a large organization with such a powerful brand, and that is able to generate this kind of fundraising that then it spreads into the local London community. It can really amplify the difference that those individual organizations can make.
How did you find bringing on new lawyers to the challenge? Like how did you get them interested?
Education, talking to them, explaining to them, because, especially around the time of year that we're running the leadership challenge, there are other asks that are going on from various other organizations as well. So then the question is, well, why United Way? Why not this? Why not this? And so it becomes just sort of educating them in a general sense on what United Way does, encouraging them to look into United Way a little bit more, maybe more so than they have already.
I'm interested to learn something that you've learned about the community through your work with United Way.
It's more in a general sense. You can go through life and you can turn a blind eye, right? You drive through the city and you will see people in need, and you can either turn a blind eye to it and pretend like it doesn't exist, or you can accept responsibility and say, what can we do to make it different? And so what I've learned from United Way is empowerment to be able to try to make that difference. You can't assume that the person that you're seeing who is in a difficult spot in their life is there because of their own decisions. And it's easy way for people to think that, oh yeah, we can just turn a blind eye to that, but that's not fair. A person might be injured and they lose their job, and then they can't afford rent, and rent is extremely expensive nowadays. So then they lose their house, and then they're not able to afford food, and then they develop mental health issues, and it becomes this cascading effect. And what I've seen and learned about the United Way is how it takes a bit of a multifaceted approach by supporting these various organizations that attacks the problem from various angles. It's not just attacking it from, okay, let's combat poverty alone, or people or homelessness alone. It's, well, what are the various reasons why a person might end up in a position where they are unhoused? Mental health, lack of food, lost their job, all those various things. And what I like about United Way and what I've learned from United Way is just how they help it from those various points of view to give people the tools to overcome that adversity. We always want to root for the underdog. You don't want to turn a blind eye to it.
So I understand there's 7 firms involved in the Lawyer Leadership Challenge. I'm sure that there are folks that you want to thank that have helped you create this wonderful success.
Absolutely, yeah. 7 firms in last year. Of course, we'd like to see more participation in each successive year. Every individual firm that joins the challenge makes a difference. So I'd like to thank the champions at each firm who, without them, the challenge is not a success. And I want to thank the individual law firms that participate in this challenge, because it is a resounding success. This past year, raising over 110,000, I think we said it was 117,000. That is incredible.
Amazing.
It's a huge increase over the previous year, which shows that people do want to give and that people want to help make London a better place. They participate and they show up and they contribute in a very meaningful way.
So you're a change maker. You have created such a great difference with the Lawyer Leadership Challenge for United Way, and we are so thankful. Do you have any words of wisdom for being our change maker?
Effectively accept the responsibility and the call to action. Don't ignore those people that are in need. Ultimately, that's it. To be a change maker, you can individually, if you're in a workplace and you want to create a fundraiser or some way to raise funds for United Way programs or United Way in your workplace, that's completely doable. It's just about taking up the call to action and not just sitting by and letting the difficulties that people in our community can face and just letting them happen without trying to do anything about it.